This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, in the last session, we were talking about system landscape. And before we were talking about system landscape, we understood one point which we have to keep in our mind. We are SAP FICO consultant. As a SAP FICO consultant, you're also represented as functional consultant. Don't get confused when somebody is asking, there is a functional requirement, there is a functional consultant requirement. You are one of the functional consultant. Functional means SAP functional modules. FICO is one of the SAP functional modules like ST and other modules. So as part of a system landscape, we understood there are three client system landscape: development, quality, production. In development, we understood there are three clients or there are three servers. Out of these three servers, as a consultant of FICO or as a functional consultant, you are responsible for two clients. Client number 100, client number 120. Keep these same client numbers in your mind. Next one, in quality system, there is a single client. In production system, there is a single client. We also understood you may be working as a dedicated resource in any project as a FICO consultant, or you may be working as a dedicated resource or shared resource. If you are a dedicated resource, you will be working for a same client throughout your project. In that situation, when you go to SAP logon pad, you will find only three servers: development, quality, production. On the other side, if you are working as a FICO consultant as a shared resource, you will be working for multiple clients. Assuming, as an example, you are working for two clients. If you assume that you are working for two clients, you will be having two development system, two quality system, two production system, one for each client. Whenever you are working as a shared resources and wherein you are extending your support, you are working for multiple clients at a time. Do not get confused between one client system with the other client system. Don't assume everything is development system. Within development, you need to be very specific: client name followed by development. In our example, we have listed Apple development, BMW development. If you are working for Apple project, you will be logging into Apple system. If you are working for BMW project, you will be opening BMW system. But both things you will find in the same SAP logon pad. So you need to be very sure, very confident that how you need to log into the system. Why you need to remember this? Because whenever you practice, throughout your the SAP training sessions and all, you will find single connection, but the moment you join any organization, it is different. So all of a sudden switching from this mindset to that mindset, it takes time. So let us avoid all the possibilities where we may get into confused mode. We will try to avoid from the beginning itself, so that by the end of your training, by the time you start attending your interviews, you will be more than comfortable, you will be confident enough. After this, we were talking about there are two areas. One is your SAP Easy Access, other one is your SAP IMG screen or SPRO IMG. Easy access, we understood this is related to end user. IMG, we understood this is related to consultant. Now, before we understood what happens in the easy access, what happens in the SPRO, we were talking about data flow in SAP FICO. As part of data flow in SAP FICO, we are not talking about data flow in SAP. We are specifically relating it to data flow in SAP FICO, meaning you need to understand what is happening in your module, what you are going to do as a consultant of SAP FICO. Don't see it from in general SAP point of view, with which you may get unnecessary confusion whether I do it or somebody else do it. These kind of confusions are not required. You need to have clear understanding. Even if you know 3 points, make sure your 3 points are valid points. Instead of randomly knowing the 10 points, please remember only 3 points which are correct points. Okay, now this is your data flow in SAP FICO. Your work begins from the business requirement. In any project, whatever the project that you talk about, implementation, rollout, support, migration, upgradation, anything that you talk about, your work as a FICO consultant always begins from the requirement. Requirement is nothing but you cannot give anything, you cannot do anything on your own in this client system. You are going to work in the client system based on the requirement, meaning somebody might give you a new requirement, somebody might tell that there is a problem in the system. Anything that is coming to you from your client, anything that is coming to you from your user is nothing but the requirement. The requirement can be a problem, requirement can be a new request. It can be anything. In short, the conversation, discussion with your client, with your user is nothing but your requirement. Requirement is nothing but they are telling what is their point, they are telling what is their opinion, they are telling what is their problem, they are telling what is their expectation. Now, accordingly, you are going to take it as requirement. This is was told to me, or this was the information shared to me by client or by user, by your project manager. Based on the requirement, you are going to start setting up the system. System setup, system settings are nothing but configuration from SAP point of view. Meaning, as a consultant, you are going to work on configuration, or you are going to set up configuration only based on the requirement. When there is no requirement, there is no configuration. Meaning, do not try to understand, do not try to practice configuration straight away without understanding requirement, because this is something which will never happen anywhere in any project. When you're practicing, don't do practice direct configurations, which is not going to happen in any project. When you're in any organization tomorrow, even in your interview, everybody will focus on what is the requirement, how did you do this requirement. So nobody is interested in straight away configuration whatever you talk. Everybody is interested in what was your client requirement, what is the business requirement, how did you meet the requirement, what you have done. That is where you are going to talk about your configuration. Meaning, you are telling the configuration, I did this configuration for this requirement, I did this configuration for this requirement. Meaning, your configuration is valid, is acknowledged, is approved, is convincing enough only when you talk about the requirement. Without requirement, whatever the configuration you talk is invalid or does not hold any weightage. Okay, meaning you have to understand the business process or business requirement. According to the business process, according to the business requirement, make sure what configuration needs to be done. And then based on the configuration, what system will do, system will allow you to execute certain business transaction. Now, when you're talking about business transaction, you're talking about three areas. Now, these three areas are basically master data, transaction data, report. Now, master data, transaction data, report will work based on your configuration. Master data, transaction data, report will work based on your configuration. Your configuration is based on the requirement, meaning every point has got a connection, every point is interlinked to the next point and to the previous point. Nothing is straightforward, everything is interconnected. These connections you'll have to slowly understand. Initially, this is a little tricky thing, but it takes a couple of days to get convinced, to get comfortable with it. It will not take more than 1 or 2 days. Within 1 or 2 days, once we look at the SAP system, you can practically relate what we are doing, why we are doing, and on what basis you need to think, decide. Everything you will be comfortable within a day or two. And you will be creating master data. When you're talking about master data, you should know which master am I talking about, because everything is generalized. When I say everything is generalized, why I'm talking about configuration, why I'm talking about master transaction report, because in SAP FICO, everybody knows there are so many things. I have GL, AP, AR, cash, bank, so many topics are there. If I'm talking about configuration related to APP, why I'm talking configuration related to APP, GL, AR, I'm not taking any lottery system. I'm not writing, in the slips, one slip AP, one slip AR, one slip GL. Randomly, I'm picking one slip. This is AP. You talk about AP. We are not going to do it. What you need to do, you have to be very specific. You have to be very particular. Now, you need to understand, if you're talking about any business requirement, what is the sequence? What is the flow that you have to configure the system in the same sequence, in the same flow? At what stage, what is required? Those things you have to keep enabling and then practice your system. Else what will happen, you are doing the practice, you are doing the configuration, but you are not placing the things at the right position at the right time. If you're not placing the things at the right position, if you're not placing the things at the right time, even though you practice, even though you understand, you will end up getting confused. You will end up getting confused because the different reasons are there. So these different reasons should not be your reason for your confusion. So if you're talking about business requirement related to GL, we're talking about business requirement related to GL. Now GL will have configuration. To enable GL module, you need to do some configuration. Okay, if I do GL module configuration, what master I need to create for GL module? You need to understand. Don't think GL module requires master data, only GL account. Fine, GL module requires master data, only GL account. Okay, now next thing is to create a transaction. To create a GL transaction, what do I need? When you're talking about a transaction, you're talking about basic accounting entry, debit, credit. To post a debit, to post a credit, you need to know several things. For example, if you specifically relate it to GL transaction, I may say GL account debit, GL account credit. I will say I need a two GL account agreed, GL1, GL2 is created. I need to post one amount, debit credit agreed, debit credit amount is posted. Now I need to have certain things. I need to have certain other masters. For example, without profit center, no entries allowed. Now, before I create a GL document, I also need to have the profit center. Meaning, along with the GL master, you should also have profit center. Make sure if profit center is created. If yes, fine. If no, create the profit center also. When you need to create profit center, even before document is posted, profit center to be created. Similarly, you also need cost center. Why you need cost center? If you are posting any expenses, expense must have a cost center. Now like this, connecting the points you have to slowly add. Initially, definitely there will be confusion. Don't think that straight away in one go you will understand. I will understand. I also will not understand. You also will not understand in one go. It takes one or two attempts for you to understand, for me to make sure that you feel comfortable. So that is the reason straight away we don't open SAP, straight away we don't go to configuration. Fact is that it takes a little time for anybody to feel comfortable, to get familiar with the terminology and then system configuration, because we are not trying to learn the config, we are trying to learn things in a different way. Okay. And when you post the transaction, you need to pull the report. When you're talking about report, now you need to understand what report I should check. How you will understand which report you need to check based on the requirement. If your requirement is related to GL, now what are the reports which you will be generating from the GL point of view? You need to know, okay, GL transaction report I want, GL balance report I want, trial balance I want, PNL I want, balance sheet I want. Likewise, I may be needing different kind of report. You need to understand what are the report. How you will come to know what report is to be generated. Everything is in your business requirement. If you do not know the business requirement, you do not know what to configure, this will become a question mark. If you do not know what configuration you are doing, why you are doing the configuration, which master to be created will become a question mark. You do not know what configuration you have done, what master you have done. You do not know what entry to be posted, this will become a question mark. You do not know, you have no clarity on your transactions, report will become a question mark. And when these are all question mark, this has got no meaning. This is also by default question mark, meaning everything is question mark because this is question mark. If one is question mark, automatically everything is question mark. If you understand this, automatically for this you know what configuration to be done. If you know what configuration you have done, automatically you will understand what master is required. If you know what masters are created, what configuration you have done, what is your requirement, you know what entry to be posted. Now, if you know what entry you posted, you automatically know which report you need to verify, what you are supposed to get from the report. If you know this, if there are any queries in between, you will backtrace. When I say you will backtrace from support, you will verify. Why do you need support? Where do you need support? Where is the problem? Is there any problem in report? You will provide a support. Is there any problem in transaction? You will provide support. Is there any problem in the master data? You will provide support. If everything is correct, then you will go back, verify if your configuration is correct. If your configuration is correct, you will go verify is my requirement understanding is correct. Meaning in the support, you are going backwards. In the support, you are going backward. You need to identify where there is a problem. Meaning the way you have to think, the way you have to look at the system should be different. Don't look at from the config point of view. Okay, now I'll remove these question marks. Next thing, what I'll do here is we will try to understand how the basic configuration is performed in SAP so that we will have a familiarity on the SAP screen Accordingly, what we will do, we will try to understand how you exactly do the configuration when you're in any project. First thing, what you need to do is you need to log into SAP. In order to log into SAP, you have to go to SAP logon pad. This is your SAP logon pad. Double click on this SAP logon pad and you will get your client details like this. Depending on the project, as I said, shared resource or a dedicated resource, you may have 3 records, you may have 3 multiplied by number of clients. For example, I log into one system. I'm not talking about whether I log into which system. Now, always remember, whenever you are talking about configuration, configuration is allowed only in one system strictly. That is always development 100. Blindly remember, configuration is always performed in development 100 only. Strictly development 100 is where you will do configuration in any project. In any project, you will perform configuration only in development 100. This development 100 is also called as golden client. Some people call it as golden client, some people call it as development. When you're talking about development, you are specifically talking about development 100. Development 100 is where you do configuration. Configuration is a one-time activity in your SAP system. You don't do multiple times configuration. Why we are talking about multiple configuration? If you scroll up, we have listed something called system landscape. We have listed something called a system landscape, wherein we have listed development, quality, production. In every system, you have listed one client number. In every system, you have listed a client number, development 100, 110, 120, quality 200, production 100. You are not going to define configuration n number of times here. Irrespective of your system landscape, irrespective of your number of clients, you are going to define configuration only a single time. You are going to define configuration a single time, and from one client to the other client, you are going to transport the configuration. There is something called transport. You are going to transport, meaning you are going to copy your settings from one client to another client, or from one system to another system. Okay, but you will do the configuration a single time. Okay, single time you will do the configuration. That is always development 100. When you log into the development, this is how you will get. You need to put client number here, meaning you should know in which client you are logging in, and according to that client you will know what is the client number. This information will be provided to you by your basis consultant or your GRC security consultant or your other consultant of FICO or any other module. In short, your project team will provide you the system landscape, client number, client configurations, everything they will provide you. Make a note of it in an Excel sheet or write down in a notebook once you're in a project. And whenever you log into the system, you need to remember this. Initial 1 or 2 days, it is fine. You look at your document and all, but later on, you have to remember it. And one more point that you need to do is never put your passwords here. Never put your password. When I say never put your password, for example, I know this is the system S4 HANA 2022, or I would say I am working for Sony development. I take Sony development, and on the top right hand side you will find something called display hide comment field. If I put this, I am getting one thing here. I can simply put user is equal to, I'll put user Ajay, and I'll put password test123. This is what I put. Now if I click on this Sony quality, nothing is coming here. If I click on S4 HANA 1909, nothing coming here. Okay, if I click on any other thing, nothing is coming. But the moment I click on Sony development, automatically I'm getting here. Please don't do this. Don't do like this. You're not supposed to do like this, because you're not supposed to list out your passwords anywhere, and don't write like this here. Majority people will write. If anybody is writing, please don't write like this. This is not the right approach, not recommended way. If you put like this, then it gives a very bad impression that you don't even know how to remember your ID password. If you're writing like this, the other person feels that you don't you remember your ID password. They might ask, they might not ask, but don't do certain things. don't put this, and you input your ID here. I will put my ID and then I'll put my password. Okay, press enter. When you put your ID, when you put your password will only move your cursor, everything will be star, meaning this is masked. You cannot display the password. You cannot display the password, but if you want, you can type it here. You can copy paste here. Control C, Control V will work, but you cannot copy from here. And then log on language. You can log into SAP in any language. Majoritarily, we will be logging in English language. If you are working for any other specific client country, for example, Japanese or Chinese or Russian, any other country, they may be using in their local language. In that case, they may put log on language other than English, they may put any other language. Whatever the language that you put here, total SAP content, total SAP content will get changed to that respective language. Okay, once you put this, just press enter on the keyboard. Whenever you're not sure, whenever you're not sure, press enter. You have to remember this icon here. You have to remember this green icon on the top left. This is enter. Whatever you press enter on the keyboard, that enter you can click here. This enter is exactly the same enter that you have a key on your keyboard. Now I press enter on my keyboard. This will log me inside the SAP. One minute, it seems server is slow. One, let me relog in.
అదేం లేదు లైవా కాదుగా
1 sec, seems to be some connectivity issue with the server. (2023) version is working fine. 2022 version. Let me see. ECC. This is your ECC. Let me log in. Okay. Meanwhile, let me show this here until this HANA 2022 will get opened. Yeah, I think this is open now. I'll keep two things side by side so that we'll eliminate certain confusions at the beginning. Because most of us will have a lot of confusions, what to do, what not to do. Let us try and eliminate these points. Now you can see two SAP screens here. Okay, you can see two SAP screens here. Left hand side there is one SAP screen, right hand side there is one SAP screen. SAP screen where there is a logo called SAP demo system, ID is ERP, this is your ECC system. Left hand side whatever you see is your SAP ECC. Right hand side whatever you see is nothing but SAP S4 HANA system 2022 version. Okay, SAP S4 HANA system 2022 version. Let me open one more screen wherein I'll show you S4 HANA 2023 version. Okay, this is your S4 HANA 2023 version. Now you are able to see three systems here. Let me minimize this. I'll put this. Okay. Now you can see three servers here or three systems here. Everywhere it is appearing as SAP Easy Access, SAP Easy Access, SAP Easy Access only. Now everywhere you find same SAP menu. Everywhere you find same SAP menu, meaning you are responsible for things that are related to finance and controlling. You are responsible for things which are related to finance and accounting, or accounting and controlling. This is basically your SAP FI, SAP CO. As a FICO consultant, you will be working on accounting module here. There is something called accounting everywhere. Now I am on the SAP S4 HANA 2023 version. This is your SAP S4 HANA 2023 version. If I expand accounting, if I scroll here, you will find financial accounting, you will find controlling. You can see financial accounting, you can see controlling. Financial accounting is nothing but FI, controlling is nothing but CO. Similarly, on this S4 HANA 2022 version, you will find accounting. If I expand accounting here, here also I can see financial accounting, here also I can see the control. Similarly, if I look at ECC, even in ECC, if I go to accounting, okay, even in ECC, if I go to accounting, here also I am able to find financial accounting, controlling, meaning there is no change in your FICO menu. When you go to accounting, you are able to find financial accounting, controlling everywhere in ECC, in S4 HANA 2022, in S4 HANA 2023. Remove the confusions from your mind. Somebody is telling ECC is different, S4 HANA is different. Somebody is telling you learn ECC, learn S4 HANA, know the differences, these kind of things. Please remove from your mindset. There are changes from ECC to S4 HANA, but there are only very limited changes when it comes to FICO. When we say there are only limited changes, there are hardly 10-20% changes you will find, which you can easily adopt, which you can easily understand. All the changes whatever you have in S4 HANA system from ECC, when you're practicing in S4 HANA system, automatically you will understand when you're on that particular screen, when you're on that particular process functionality, easily you will come to know, provided you are learning, you are practicing, you are looking at the FICO from the business process point of view. If you are looking at the system from the business process point of view, all the changes whatever you have from ECC to S4 HANA, you will come to know automatically. You don't even need to refer any document. Otherwise, if you are practicing your SAP FICO based on configuration, you will never know what is here, what is there, what is this, what is that. Everything is a question mark, because your logic is based on the config. Config will create confusion. Configuration practice will always give you confusion, because you do not know how you are configuring in ECC, how you are configuring in S4 HANA system, because there is no point called requirement. There is no point called business process when you are configuring the system. When there is no business process, when there is no business requirement, from where you will understand how this is executed in ECC, how this is executed in S4 HANA, it is practically not possible. If anything, it is possible through your online or social media content. You may read some document, you may watch a video. From there, you may try to understand 3-4 points or 5-6 points. You assume that this is what is the ECC to S4 HANA change, which may be correct, which may not be correct. Again, a question mark there. Meaning, you will end up putting all the question marks at a different places for no reason, because you do not know why you are doing all these things. As long as you have no clarity why you are doing all these things, first of all, we are doing the practice, we are learning SAP FICO, you should have a clarity. You are moving forward, you are going ahead with the different topics and all, but you are not having a clarity. You are increasing your backlogs, you are increasing your doubts, you are increasing your confusions. Everything will get increased. Going forward, what will happen? Everything is interconnected, everything is interlinked in SAP, especially FICO. Every point is interlinked, interconnected to other topic. Nothing is straightforward. Everything is interconnected, everything is connected to other modules, other areas. If you are unable to practice point number 3, point number 4. You cannot put point number 5 because only after 3, only after 4 you will be able to write 5. 3, 4 you cannot skip, you cannot go to 5. Why I am telling these points is majoritarily what we will do is we feel that okay, initially I'm not practicing, I was busy with the different reasons, but let me be up to date from now onwards. Let me be up to date from now onwards. By the time you realize, we would have completed it 20%, 30%, 40%. At that time when you do practice, you will be very confused because I may be talking about a different topic, I may be talking about accounts payable, but I may be bringing different terminology, different other topics there, and you may be confused why in accounts payable this is coming, why in accounts payable that is coming, because you have not practiced from the beginning, you are not up to date from the beginning, you will get unnecessary confusions. Remember, we are not going to do things in straightforward, we are not going to do configuration directly, this is how this is done. We are going to do the configuration in a way where all the confusions we will get it here only, all the confusions, all the possible errors, issues we will get related to understanding requirement and all. Then we will try to understand if you get a problem, if you get an error, if you're talking to the client, and how you are going to solve it, why you are getting errors, how you are supposed to think, how you are supposed to understand, how we are thinking, where is the mistake, where is the gap. That is what we are trying to understand. Okay, so don't think that we will be doing straightforward configuration. I will be giving you the configuration document material, nothing as such will be provided. There is no configuration document with me. I am not going to provide any configuration document. I am not going to place any configuration screenshot when I do the config. I am going to write down what is the requirement in the Excel sheet. I will make you understand what is this requirement with simple examples through which you can connect it to the business process. Same thing I will write in the accounting. We will understand how this is going to be affected in your finance, in your accounting, debit, credit impact, reports and all. Then we will put the same requirement into the SAP. There I am going to show you only for our requirement what configuration you are supposed to do, how you will do the configuration, who you will talk to in your client, and how you will get the requirement. If you have a clarification, to whom you will approach, how you will approach, and how you will decide what to configure. These points is what we are going to understand while we do the configuration. Meaning, I don't want anybody to focus on the transaction code. I don't want anybody to focus on what I am doing. Focus how I am doing, not what I am doing. Don't see what I am writing ABCD. I can write ABCD, I can write XYZ also, it's my choice. In place of ABC, you can write XYZ. In place of XYZ, you can put 1, 2, 3. It's your choice. My system, my practice, my wish, your system, your practice, your wish. So there is no rule why I am putting ABCD, there is no rule why you are putting XYZ, but I should have my logic, I should have my understanding, you should have your logic. Don't have a logic that in the training, in the class you put ABC, I replaced ABC with XYZ. ABC is alphabet, XYZ is alphabet, don't go by those logic. Meaning you should have a company in your mind, you should have a requirement in your mind, accordingly you should think. Initially, I agree, it takes a little confusing task, but this is how you are going to work in the project tomorrow when you become a consultant. When you know that this is how you are going to work, it is better you start thinking, you start working in the similar approach from the beginning only. Later on, after joining the project, after joining the company, if you come across these kind of things, these kind of situations, it is very difficult at that moment to learn. It is kind of you want to learn, you wanted to join SAP FICO once again, even after joining the FICO job. It is a one-time effort. Whatever the effort that you are putting in, whatever the practice and all that you are putting in, put it in a right way. It may take a little more time, but you will get good result, you will get good job. You don't have to regret, you don't have to worry, you don't have to scared about this subject. You will be comfortable, you will be confident wherever you go, and that confidence will not come just like that in 3 months. It is not possible. You need to accept the reality, and then accordingly you need to practice. Don't expect within 3 months, within 4 months you will become master in SAP FICO. After 3 months, after 2 months only, you will start understanding what is happening in SAP. After 3 months, after 2 months only, you will understand what is happening in SAP. Till then you will not understand. Till then you will not understand. Initially what will happen, Bits and pieces you will understand. When I say bits and pieces, whatever the settings that I'm going to do from now onwards, that setting, bits and pieces you will understand without any doubt. You feel that yes, this is very simple, very easy, but when you're trying to join, when you try to connect multiple points later on, when you try to join, when you try to connect multiple points later on, that is where we actually start, getting the confusions. Why this, why not this, why like this, why like that? Because you would have created certain settings maybe 3 days ago, 4 days ago, 1 week ago, 10 days ago. After 10 days you are recalling that configuration. After 10 days you are recalling 10 days back configuration to do 11th day configuration. Now 11th day whatever you are doing is based on first day what you did, and by the time you reached 11th day you would have forgotten what you did on day 1. Whatever you did on day 1, obviously we will forget on day 11. Quite common, because every day you are adding different topics, you are adding different configurations, things, and apart from these things you are engaged, you are busy with your daily routine. You may be working currently, you may be doing other daily routines of yours. Considering all these points, remembering everything is practically not possible. And you should also consider your age. You should also consider your age, because everybody is not, no, hardly all of us are beyond the student age. When I say hardly everybody is beyond the student age, we don't have that mindset when you read one time you will remember it. First of all, we don't want to read. I personally don't like reading. If I look at anything which I need to read, first thing I get is a sleep. So I sleep the moment I read anything, I sleep the moment I see anything. Meaning I don't know how to read. I don't know if I read whether I'll be able to remember. I don't remember. I do not know, because unless I have a clear understanding, unless I have a clear explanation, I may not be able to remember things. If I read, I'm reading, I'm remembering, but I do not know why this. For that why, you need an explanation, you need an example with which you will feel that yes, I am able to understand this now. I can make an example of my own. I can make another person understand what it is. Tomorrow, as a FICO consultant, you need to make sure you will make the person who is taking your interview understand what you're talking. If I am the interviewer, you are the candidate. Whatever you are talking about SAP FICO, make sure I understand first. Make sure I understand first. That is your target number 1. Target number 2, once you become a consultant, whatever you talk, make sure your client is able to understand. Whatever you talk, your user is able to understand. You're talking, but nobody is able to understand. Meaning, when you talk, you should talk things in a way where the other person is connected to it. Meaning, you are not supposed to read what you're reading on the Google. You're not supposed to read what you're reading from the SAP FICO course content materials and all. That you do it, that you read it the way, if you're talking in the similar approach, anybody can easily catch that you do not know SAP FICO. You read somewhere, you are trained somewhere, or you are not experienced candidate. There are different reasons. The different reasons, people can easily figure it out. And if you know these points from the beginning, accordingly, you will have your own approach. If you know these points towards the end, if you know these points when you're attending your interviews, when you join your project, you will not have any time at that moment with you. You will not find any time at that moment. All we feel at that moment is, if I would have known these points, I would have prepared in a different way. Don't get into that situation where you will regret, where you feel that you wasted your time and all. Let us not get that situation. When we know that this is what is going to happen in future, let us think, let us talk about all these points. Now I know that whatever I'm talking is at very higher side, which may create fear, which may create negativity in your mind, but this is the fact. This is the fact. Whether you accept, you do not accept, this is the fact, right? And when we know these points at the beginning itself, meaning you can slowly fine tune your mind, okay, this is how things will be in SAP FICO. I should not straight away practice, I should not straight away focus on config, T codes and all. I should start focusing on what I need to do, how I need to look at the system, how I will understand small business processes. Small business processes. Everybody knows SAP FICO is an ocean. SAP FICO is an ocean. It is unlimited. When I say this is unlimited, you will get n number of scenarios here, n number of requirements, n number of problems, n number of issues. Now you have time of 3 months to 4 months maximum. You have a time of 3 to 4 months time, and our target is to complete SAP FICO course within 3 to 4 months. And when you go to the market, this 3 to 4 months you want to do a magic, 3 to 4 months will become 3 to 4 years. The moment the way that you are changing month to year, your knowledge from month to year will not become. It's very easy to say I learnt SAP FICO in 3 to 4 months. Now I can go to the market with 3 to 4 years of experience. Months knowledge will not give you years experience. You have to be very practical. Otherwise, what will happen? We will end up getting into unwanted things. When I say unwanted things, I am talking about people who think after completing their SAP FICO course, we feel that I have completed my SAP FICO course, but I'm not confident. I have completed my SAP FICO course, but I'm not able to understand. I am attending interviews, but I'm not able to clear interview. I am attending interview, but I don't know why I'm getting rejected. I am attending interview, but I'm not able to understand the questions. I am attending interview, but I'm not able to answer scenario-based questions. I am attending interview, but nobody is asking a configuration. I am attending interview, but I don't know what to prepare. I don't know how to prepare. I am attending interview, but I don't know what projects are there in my resume. Okay, now I have done multiple levels of attending interviews, different companies, nothing is working out. Let me try proxy. People say that I'll go for proxy. People say I go for backdoor job, and then somehow they get into the job. Maybe they cleared the interview fortunately, or they went inside the job through different sources like proxy, backdoor. After going, they will be scared every day, every minute. You have to be afraid of. The moment, if I am the Ajay who joined SAP FICO consultant in a different source, I mean to say, maybe I cleared the interview myself. Luckily, I did a lot of hard work and all. I cleared, but I cleared the interview. That's it. I don't know FICO. I practiced 10 number of times configurations and all. I read multiple documents, watched different YouTube videos and all. I was able to manage. Now, what happened after getting into the job? The moment somebody calls Ajay, I don't know, I get scared. I get scared because I don't know what they will ask me. They say that there is a meeting tomorrow, you please join the call. I don't know, I get scared. Why? What is the call? What I need to talk? What they're asking? What they're telling? How I have to understand? I don't know. They may say that there is a problem in this point, can you please look into it? I don't know what is the problem, where to look into, which system I should go, development, quality, production. I don't know. They may say that this is very urgent, very high priority, very critical production issue. Please solve it immediately. I don't know what to do. I have nobody in front of me. I have nobody around me. I have nobody in my circle who can help me. What I'll do, I again search for somebody who can provide me support. When I say I can again search for somebody who can provide me support, now I need on-job support. There are people in the market who will give you on-job support. They say that pay me X amount every month, pay me Y amount every month. I will help you in your job. Now, why we have to get into all these situations, all these things? For learning, you have to pay money. For clearing interview, you have to pay money. For surviving in your job, every day you have to pay money. Why all these things? Instead of paying money everywhere, you can simply keep quiet, sit, practice, spend a little extra time so that you don't have to pay money to anybody. You don't have to be scared of anything. Meaning, these kind of situations are happening a lot in the market. These kind of situations are happening a lot in the market, and try to be very conscious, try to be very practical, very be serious about learning SAP FICO. Remember, 3 to 4 months of SAP FICO course is not going to give you 3 to 4 years of knowledge. For that to happen, right from day one, the way you look at the system, the way you understand, the way you practice, everything should be in a systematic manner, in a systematic order. Whatever you're understanding, whatever you're reading, whatever you're practicing should be very clear for you. Only then you can relate it. Only then you can talk to other person like you have 3 to 4 years of experience. Otherwise, everybody can tell you whatever you do. Everybody can do a magic. Everybody, where whatever you do, you cannot do any magic. Anybody can easily figure out this is magic. I know you don't have 3 years of experience. I know you have no experience in SAP. People can easily figure out. Within a minute of your conversation, within a minute you open your mouth, the other person figures out that you have no experience on SAP FICO. You are a trained candidate. Why? Different reasons are there. There are multiple reasons which I will be revealing, which I will be opening up whenever the situation comes. I will talk about different points which will make you understand why I'm talking these points at this moment. Meanwhile, to verify if I am right, if I am wrong, those who have friends in SAP FICO who are working in SAP, please verify with them. Verify with the people who are working as SAP FICO consultant only. Don't verify with people who are learning SAP FICO. Don't verify with the people who are not working in SAP FICO. Strictly verify with the people who are working as SAP FICO consultant. Otherwise, you talk to somebody, you don't talk to somebody, it is the same. You ask somebody who is not working in SAP FICO, you ask somebody who doesn't know SAP FICO, it is the same. Meaning, you need to know where to ask the question, you need to know where to get the information, you need to know what to believe, what not to believe. Otherwise, in the air, you get 100 things. Which one you are considering, which one you are taking into your mind will affect everything. Meaning, you need to have clarity first. And you have to be sure about what you are learning. You need to be confident about the way that you are proceeding further. Else what will happen, you will be considering about duration, 1 month is over, 10 days is over, 15 days is over. You are not going to do long jump. After 1 week you cannot do a long jump to complete 1 month. There is no shortcut here. You have to do the same thing. If there are 100 steps, you have to put 100 steps only. You cannot do at a time big jump 10 steps, at a time another jump 3 steps. Impossible. There is no such way. If anybody tells there is a shortcut, then you have been manipulated. And if you are getting manipulated, if you are getting diverted with different things which people are talking to you, which you are hearing in the market, then it is your mistake. It is clearly your mistake, and then you will be regretting later on. Okay, remember these points. Accordingly, you put in your effort. Meaning, don't worry about the duration, don't consider about duration, learn at your own pace. As I said, I will be teaching you, I will be training you until you become a FICO consultant, irrespective of the duration. If it takes 1 year for you to become a consultant, you will be with me for 1 year. You will leave me only after you get SAP FICO job. You will leave me only after becoming SAP FICO consultant. Don't think that the classes are going on, I'm not able to understand. It's okay, you go at your own pace. Don't compare with others, don't compare with me also that I'm going fast and all. First of all, I don't go fast, I go at my own pace. I don't consider those who are already working, I don't consider those who are already trained. I go at my own pace, considering the person who is not from accounting background, who does not know anything about SAP. That person is my target person. Considering that person, I explain anything, I do anything on my sessions. So you have to have a little patience to bear with me. Okay, the reason why I'm telling all these things is because I am logging into SAP, I am going to do things in SAP. Don't expect that I already know certain things, please show me fast and all. Don't expect, which I am not going to do it. Okay, as I said, we are going to complete our course. It takes approximately 3 to 4 months. Approximately 3 to 4 months it will take. And after completion of 2.5 months, you will start understanding. After completion of 2.5 months, you will start understanding what we are doing. Until 2 months, until 2.5 months, you will not understand what you are doing. You feel that you are understanding, but that is not your actual understanding. When I say that is not your actual understanding, that is your bits and pieces understanding. When you try to joint, nothing will nothing will blink. Everything will be dark. Because one wire, you take red wire, you take black wire. When you test red wire, it will work. When you take black wire, it will work. When you connect red and black, it will not work. Reason, you do not know how to connect it. Now to do that connection, to understand where you need to connect, you need to wait at least 2 to 2.5 months. After 2.5 months, you will start understanding what is SAP FICO, why you are creating company code, why you are creating entry, what is report, what is this, what is that. After 2.5 months, you will understand. This is fact. And if you are under an impression that within 3 months I will complete my course, 4th month I will be in the job, 5th month I will be 1 month experienced, then it's all your imagination. It's all your imagination. That will become a dream only. That will become a dream only. You have to come out of it. Because most of the things, most of the times we will be assuming the things. But don't assume the things. I am teaching good doesn't mean you will understand good. I am teaching good doesn't mean you understand good. My teaching may not be connected to you. You may have difficulties in understanding. If you have any difficulty, you are supposed to ask me. If you find any any difficulty in understanding whatever I am teaching, please make sure you ask your question. Once we start the actual configuration, every day at the end of the session, I will answer all your questions. Only then I'll close the class. Because it may be difficult for me to answer your questions on WhatsApp or on the calls because of different reasons. I may be busy in my office, I may be busy in the other classes, I may get free time, I may not get free time, I may be able to respond on time for your messages, I may be able to respond to your calls or not during weekdays. Okay, so make sure any doubts, any questions that you have on that particular topic, after the class you ask me once we start the configuration. Because before we start the configuration, any doubts, any questions that you have, when I talk, when I explain, most of your questions, most of your confusions will get automatically cleared. I know what kind of doubts you all will get. I know what kind of questions you all will get. I create all the points, I talk all the possible points which will clarify all the doubts, all the questions, whatever is possible from your side, so that even if you do not ask, you have the answers from my explanation. Okay, now the first thing that I want you to say is, this is your ECC, this is your HANA 22, this is your HANA 23. You have three systems. In the three systems, you are able to see accounting. In the three systems, you are able to see financial accounting, controlling, meaning in ECC, there is no change. In S4 HANA, there is no change. So don't think that in ECC, in S4 HANA, there is a change. Until I talk about the configuration changes or any other changes from ECC to S4 HANA, whatever I do, whatever I show, whatever I talk is same in ECC, is same in S4 HANA system. When there is a change, when there is a difference, I explain you clearly, I will show you practically. When there is a change, when there is a difference, I will explain, I will show in both the scenes parallelly side by side like this. I put ECC one side, I put S4 HANA one side. I will show you this is ECC, this is S4 HANA system, wherein you will practically understand what is the difference, what is the change. Until I talk about any change, until I talk about any difference, keep in your mind whatever I am doing, whatever I am talking is the same for ECC, is same for S4 HANA, irrespective of the version. Whether you talk about ECC, S4 HANA 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, any version you take, whatever you are doing is one and the same. So don't bring any confusion, don't put any filters in your mind. This is in HANA, this is in ECC, this is in 20, this is in 19, this is in 22. Remove those filters. Tomorrow when you become a FICO consultant, no guarantee, no rule, nobody will give any guarantee. You will work in ECC project, you will work in S4 HANA project. In S4 HANA, you may work in 2020 version, 21 version, 22, 23, any project, any version you may work. While learning, while practicing, if you are injecting in your mind that whatever I am practicing is S4 HANA 2022 version, highlighting bold, italic and all, will create unnecessary problems everywhere. Because whatever you see, you say that no, I worked in S4 HANA 2022, I don't know how it works in 2021. I don't know how it works in ECC because I never worked in ECC. People say proudly that I have not worked in ECC, but that is wrong. You are giving a clear indication that you do not know SAP if you are telling you have not worked in ECC. Because from our point of view, it may convey a different message, but from the other point of view, it will convey a negative message. If you say that no, I have not worked in any ECC project, but what if the interview that you are giving, the requirement that your client is looking for ECC, now you are telling I do not know ECC, I have not worked on ECC. When you are telling I have not worked on ECC, I do not know ECC, I have 4 years of experience only in S4 HANA system. For that reason, upfront you are rejected. Upfront you are rejected because you are telling you do not know ECC. First of all, we do not know what is there in ECC, what is there in S4 HANA. We do not know practically what are the differences between ECC and S4 HANA. We assume something of our own and then we come to a conclusion. We have our own nicely framed answers to be given, to be explained in the interview, which will put you in unnecessary troubles everywhere. Nobody is creating trouble, nobody is teaching you, nobody is telling you everything. You are collecting the data from different sources, and when you are collecting the different data from different sources and when you are joining everything, it will malfunction only. It will malfunction, it will not work as expected, it will not be the right content as it is supposed to be, it will be the wrong content because there is no connection between these 2 points. You are collecting data from different sources, you are trying to join directly. Definitely it will give a different avatar, it will not give you any image which you can say this is this. You have to innovatively put a name for it. So don't do such kind of things. Now, reason why I'm talking you all these points at the beginning is, in the beginning everybody is super excited. In the beginning we all will be, super active, super smart. We wanted to, explore different things, understand the different, put extra efforts and all, not required. Whatever I teach, whatever I talk, if you stick to it, that is more than sufficient. If you listen to me carefully, what I'm talking, what I'm doing, how I'm explaining, that is more than sufficient for your level. You will be overqualified. That is more than sufficient. Nothing is required. I will tell you at a stage where you can refer anything. Until I tell don't refer anything, I'll tell you the day when I feel that yes, now you can refer anything. That time you are free to watch any YouTube video, you are free to watch any course content, you are free to refer any material, any document, anything you can do. That time you will have your own thinking ability. When you watch a video, when you watch a material, when you watch any configuration document, when you talk to anybody, you can judge, you can decide, yes, I am able to understand why they are telling like this, why they are telling like this. Everybody whosoever talk, whosoever teach, or whosoever give you any material document, there is a logic behind it. There is a logic behind it, and you don't pick that logic. And when you do not know that logic, whatever you take is of no use. That's not giving you any value addition to your knowledge, value addition to your understanding. These kind of a mindset, you have to remove it. As I said, until I tell, do not refer any material, do not refer any content. That will unnecessarily create confusion. I am telling you upfront only. Because whatever I talk, whatever I teach, whatever I show, the way I configure, the way I make you configure the system is completely different. So if you try to compare, if you try to verify with the other materials and all, it will be completely ulta. It will be completely ulta. I put a lot of confusions purposefully to make sure you understand the things in a better way. Okay. Now this is your ECC S4 HANA system. First one, here I'll open SPRO now. Here also I'll open SPRO. Now I'm playing between ECC S4 HANA system. S4 HANA here, S4 HANA here. You don't find any difference there. Okay, now here I click on SAP reference IMG. Here also I'll click on IMG. Now here also you find the same things. Forget about the other things. When I say forget about the other things, as a FICO consultant, you are responsible for enterprise structure. Okay, I find enterprise structure here. Here also I am responsible for enterprise structure. I find it here. Don't compare, this is the 4th position, this is the 6th position. That in detailed, in-depth comparison is not required for us. That in detailed, in-depth comparison, this is 4th position, this is 7th position, there is a change. You are telling no change. Don't go to that detailed level. That is not required. Look at, if you find enterprise structure, yes, open enterprise structure. Here also enterprise structure, open this. Okay, I find definition, assignment, consistency check. Assignment, definition, consistency check. Okay, open definition, financial accounting, controlling FICO. Financial accounting, controlling FICO. FICO is here, FICO is there. Open financial accounting here. Open financial accounting here. You will find same settings. You open here, you open there, you find same settings. You open controlling here, you open controlling here, you will find same settings here, you will find same settings there also. Make sure what settings are here, what settings are there. Minute changes will be there. those are not going to create any impact. When you set up the system, when you practice SAP FICO, when you're in any project, those minute changes will not create any difference. You will automatically understand certain changes. You're not supposed to look at that as a change. Certain things you will understand automatically. You do not have to look at that as a change. This is your enterprise structure. I am minimizing it. I am minimizing it here also. Next thing, you'll have financial accounting. Financial accounting new in ECC. In S4 HANA system, you will find only financial accounting. Now in S4 HANA system, there is only single financial accounting. In ECC, you have two financial accounting. One is only financial accounting. Second one is financial accounting new. The reason is in ECC, there are two GLs. In ECC, there are two GLs. One is classic GL, other one is new GL. In ECC, there are two GLs. One is classic GL, other one is new GL. Only financial accounting is representing a classic GL. Financial accounting new in bracket is representing a new GL. Only financial accounting in ECC is representing classic GL. Financial accounting in brackets new in ECC is representing a new GL. When it comes to S4 HANA system, in S4 HANA system, there is a single GL, that is by default new GL. There is no classic GL concept in S4 HANA system. In S4 HANA, it is a straightforward new GL. So that is why you find only one financial accounting in S4 HANA system. In S4 HANA, open financial accounting. S4 HANA financial accounting is representing financial accounting new by default, meaning new GL accounting. Now in ECC also, I'll come here. I'll open financial accounting new. I'll find here and here same thing, financial accounting global setting, general ledger, APAR, financial accounting, general ledger, APAR, bank accounting, asset accounting, bank accounting, asset accounting. That's it. Remaining points, forget about it. We don't work as a FICO consultant. As a FICO, you are going to work on global setting, general ledger, APAR, bank accounting, asset accounting. This is what you are going to work as a FI consultant here. Same thing here, global setting, general ledger, APAR, bank accounting, asset accounting. You have same things here. Now if I open controlling here, I'll minimize this, I'll go to controlling. Same thing, I'll come here, minimize financial accounting, I'll open controlling here. I have same thing, general controlling, cost center, internal order, activity based costing, product costing, profitability analysis, product profit center accounting. Here also general controlling, cost element is missing here. Now cost center, internal order, you have activity, product costing, profitability analysis, profit center accounting. Except cost element, everything is here and there, because in S4 HANA system, cost elements are part of chart of account. That is why S4 HANA system cost elements are removed here. Likewise, there are minute points. Wherever it is required, I'll explain you. Otherwise, you can ignore it. Later on, when you're practicing the system, when you're on that particular topic, automatically I will tell you. I'll make you understand what is here, what is there, what are the differences. But straight away, don't read, don't try to understand, because that will create unnecessary confusion, which is not at all required. Try to understand the comparison, try to know the comparison differences when you know what is X, what is Y. Otherwise, don't compare X and Y when you do not know X, when you do not know Y properly. Problem is you do not know ECC, you do not know S4 HANA system properly. You try to understand the differences between these two. How you will understand the difference? When you do not know, you have not practiced ECC, you have not practiced S4 HANA system. Practically, you do not know how ECC works. Okay. Practically, you do not know how S4 HANA works. Now you are trying to understand ECC, S4 HANA differences by referring different content. Now it's all depending on your understanding. It is all depending on your understanding, your practice, how you are relating it to the practicality. How you are relating it to the practicality, and these points is what slowly we have to understand. When you understand these points, the way you think, the way you look at the system will get automatically changed. When you talk, you will find the difference. When you say, when you find, you will find the difference. This difference is what you have to show When you're talking, your other person should tell you this. The other person will have to realize the difference in you once you start thinking in a different way, once you start practicing in a different way. Okay. Now, basically, this is what your SAP ECC screen, S4 HANA screen, whatever we are going to do, enterprise structure, financial accounting, controlling, you have practically seen there are no changes. I will tell you where there are changes. I will tell you what changes we have to understand, because changes you will always get from the business process point of view. Changes you will always get from the business process point of view. Only when you're thinking, only when you're practicing, only when you're understanding business processes, that is where you are going to understand differences between changes between ECC to S4 HANA system. Otherwise, you will never understand. Even if you have crystal clear changes written in an Excel sheet, in a piece of paper, you will not understand because you do not know the business process. Whatever is the key point for it, that is what we are missing it, which you are not supposed to miss. If you understand the business process, the business process will teach you everything. If you understand the business process, that business process will teach you everything. Go in a way which will make you feel comfortable, which will make you feel confident. Okay. So from tomorrow onwards, what I will do, I will be starting straight away configuration first. The first point what I will do is, I will take one company code. I will take one company code. Whatever the company code which I am creating from tomorrow onwards is a dummy company code. When I say it is a dummy company code, I will create one random company code. I will explain you what naming convention, why I am taking everything. Now, when I do that company code configuration, the idea is only to make you feel comfortable with the SAP, understand how we are doing the configuration. And then in the previous session, we've talked about one accounting part wherein we created some accounting entries. We prepared a TB, we prepared PNL, we prepared balance sheet. We understood what was the profit, we understood what was the asset liability. Same thing, same accounting entries I will post after creating this company code. I will pull out the report from SAP. I will show you the same numbers, whatever we manually calculated in the Excel sheet. TB, PNL, balance sheet. What was our profit? What was our asset figure? What was our liability figure? I will show you from SAP so that you will understand practically how you have to relate your business process understanding with SAP. Because going forward, in the similar way, I am going to explain everything. Meaning, you have to understand, you have to get adjusted with me. Because the way I am talking, the way I am explaining, the way I am configuring the system, the way I am giving assignments to you, you have to understand first. For that, first we need to get adjusted with each other. You need to understand my way of talking. You need to understand my way of explaining. You need to understand why I am creating confusions. You need to understand why I am adding different points in between. So when we create one company code, when we post one entries, we will automatically understand, everybody will have a clarity what is happening in SAP, what exactly you have to do. And then accordingly, I will start your regular session, meaning your regular class number 1. When I say regular class number 1, actual SAP FICO configuration will begin after I show this one. If I go up, after I show this number from SAP in my dummy company code, the moment I show this is my PNL loss 500, this is my asset 9500, liability 9500. The day when I show this figure from SAP, from the next day your regular class number 1 counted. As I said, first 1 month I don't count. First 1 month I don't count your course duration, because first 1 month I will make sure you get used to me. I will make sure you will understand what I'm talking. I'll make sure we get to know each other. I'll make sure you understand a different terminology. I'll make sure you understand what is actually SAP FICO, what you need to do, how you need to prepare practice. After that, when I start configuring the system in a sequential order one by one, that is where you will start understanding what I am doing, why I am doing. Clear, right? Now don't get confused, don't get panic, don't worry if you are able to understand. You are not able to understand, whatever I'm teaching now, everything will be repeated once again. Everything I will repeat once again, meaning I will make you very strong in the basics, fundamentals, so that going forward any topic, it is based on the topic. It's hourly basis. Hourly basis, I mean to say, if you take any topic, it will not take much time. With this understanding, whatever you have, any topic that you take within 1 hour, maximum 2 hours, you can complete a topic. You name any topic in SAP FICO, within 1 hour, within 2 hours, you can complete the topic configuration, provided you have thorough understanding. You have clear understanding of what is to be done, how you need to proceed. With that help, you can easily practice, you can easily understand any topic. That time it is topic wise. Your practice, your preparation is topic wise. You take a particular topic, you try to understand what is the business process of it, what is the configuration of it. Even if I don't show the config, even if I tell you Google the configuration step, you do it, you will be able to do it. I will simply tell you this is the business process. I will give one example along with the accounting figure. I'll tell you this is your requirement, this post this entry, and in this report I want this, in this report I want this. Even if you Google, get the configuration document, you can do on your own, meaning you will get that kind of mindset developed through which you can practice on your own, you can think on your own. That is what is your consulting knowledge, that is what is your consulting experience, that is what you are supposed to know. It's not that if I show the configuration, if I do the configuration, only then you will be able to understand. That dependency going forward, you have to remove it, because I will not be there every time with you. One fine day you have to start working on your own. One fine day you have to start exploring the system on your own. Let us make sure from now only, when I am with you, you will start working that way, so that if you get any doubts, if you get any confusions, if you get any clarifications, you can ask me. I will tell you where you are going wrong, how you are thinking, how you are supposed to think. You will understand the different points. All these points will be practically helpful when you are in a project. Okay, fine, right? Those who are finding it a little difficult, don't worry about it. As I said, any difficult points, any negative points, or any points which will create fear in you, I will be talking at the beginning only. Later on, I don't have anything to talk, I don't have anything to tell you to create fear in you. Everything that I talk, I'll list out everything in detail in the Excel sheet. You don't even have to write down anything. Whatever the points I write in the Excel sheet, if you read those points, if you refer what I'm explaining in the session, more than sufficient to clear any interview of yours. If you pay attention on what I'm talking, if you pay attention on what I'm writing on the Excel sheet, that is more than sufficient to clear your interview, to survive in your job, to manage your work independently, confidently. That is more than sufficient. You don't need any other source. But it all depends on how you are understanding, and if you're having any questions, whether you're asking or not, if you're getting clarified or not, that matters a lot. If you get a question, doubt, confusion, do not hesitate. Please feel free to ask me at the end of the session. From tomorrow onwards, once we start the configuration, I will answer all the questions, because we are taking the classes at the night. So I'll make sure I'll extend my time. I'll ensure that all your questions are answered. Only then I'll close the session. Okay, so make sure any questions, any confusions that you have, feel free to ask me, or put a message in the group. Somebody will respond to you. Put a message in the group. Any understanding related issues that you have, any errors that you are facing, put a message in the group. If you find any difficulties, you're not able to understand, I prefer you send a voice note to me instead of typing a message to me, because I may understand it in a different way. Because you may not be able to type it in a right way, I may not be able to read it in a right way, because I may be reading it in my office hours or in my free time. I may be able to understand your context properly or not properly. Anywhere, if you find your understanding problems, you have some issues, please prefer to put a voice message to me, so that I can listen it 1 or 2 times to understand what exactly is the issue that you are facing. Either I will send you a written voice message, or I will type what you need to do, or if I feel that no, you may not be able to understand, I'll straight away give you a call, I'll explain you that query. But make sure you don't keep your questions in your mind, be open up, speak out in the session, or put a voice message or voice note to me, because tomorrow in the interview you need to talk, tomorrow to your client, to your user you need to talk, everywhere you need to talk only. Get this mindset from now itself. The reason why I'm telling not to type, because I practically find it very difficult to read messages and then respond to messages because of the number of messages that I receive on a daily basis. I get a lot of messages. By the time you send one message, you send second message, your message may be at 10-15 messages down. I would have received 10 more messages on my WhatsApp. So practically not possible for me to read each and every message, respond to each and every message. You will receive faster response from me when you put voice messages. Okay, fine then. So let me stop this here today. So from tomorrow we will be starting the configuration. This logon pad link, the old link whatever I have is not working fine. The new link, new drive link will be shared with me now. I will be updating it tomorrow morning. So tomorrow everybody will have the system access. Once I complete the tomorrow evening session, you can practice from tomorrow onwards in the system. So I'll make sure everybody will have the system access tomorrow. From tomorrow onwards, your actual practice in SAP begins. So whatever we discussed so far in this Excel sheet, once I share this file, refer it one time so that you will not find any difficulties, any questions, confusions that you are having. Make sure you will be able to get them clarified. Put a message in the group. Nothing is wrong. Even if you put basic questions, nothing is wrong. Your understanding is important. That's it. Don't think how others will think. Ignore about it. If you find it asking in such a way, please put separate message to me. I will respond to you. If you find asking certain questions in the group, maybe basics and all, please put a separate message to me. I will respond to you. Okay, fine then. So we will connect at the same time tomorrow with the configurations. Good night.